In this class, let us learn how to construct a line which will be parallel to a given line and will pass through a point which lies outside of that line. Or in other words, we need a line which will be parallel to this L and which will pass through O. Now that's not a big deal, right? All I have to do is this. So there I have a line which is parallel to L and it passes through 0. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because often what seems parallel or perpendicular to our eyes may not be so. And we all know mathematicians are a suspicious lot, and they will not believe you until you give them mathematical proof. So that is what we are going to do today. Today we are going to learn how to construct a line which will be parallel to the given line, following something which we have already learnt. If you remember, we learned about transversal of parallel lines. In that, we saw that if we have two lines L and M, we don't know if they are parallel or not. And how do we check whether they are parallel or not? If we have a transversal which cuts them in such a way that the alternate interior angles are equal, then that would mean that L and M are parallel. We have done a detailed video on this. I will give the link, please go through it. So what we have to do is that if we are given two lines L and M, we don't know if they are parallel. So if we can get a transversal that cuts these two lines in such a way that the alternate interior angles, the angles which lie inside, in such a way that they are alternate, which means one lies to this side of the transversal and the other lies to this side of the transversal. If we can prove that these two are equal, then that would mean that L and M are parallel. So that is what we are going to construct here. So let us start the construction. So what are given? Two things are given. One is a line and another is a point O which lies outside of that line. So that are the two things which are given. A line and a point O. So let us start our construction, which will be the easiest part to draw. The line which is supposed to be the transversal, right? So we will start with that construction. So what have we done? What is the first thing we have done? We have joined this point to a random point on L. So name it A. So remember, in geometry, whenever you have new points, name them immediately. So we have joined O to a point A on L. Now this will be, at the end of the construction, we will see that this is our transversal. For now, we don't know that. Now next, what do you have? You don't just have a transversal. You also have an angle here. Did you see that? Now what we are going to do is, we are going to copy this angle. This angle which has A as the vertex, we are going to copy this, but on this side. You see here, the angle which has the vertex A, we are going to copy that to the vertex with vertex O, the opposite side. So for that we will need our compass. So we will take out our compass, keep A as the center and any radius. Any radius you take and draw an arc. There. So as I said, as soon as you see new points, immediately name them. Okay, so this is the first thing we constructed. What is the second thing we did? With A as the center and any radius, any suitable radius, draw an arc such that it cuts the line OA on B, and L on G. So it cuts them. Now what we are going to do is copy this angle onto O. So do not change your radius. Stick on to that. But only change the vertex. What you draw with, what you constructed first with A, now construct with O. So there you have this. Randomly name this DS. So what is the third step we did? What we did is that the same angle, but this time the center was O and the radius was same. The radius was same because we want equal angles. So there you have. Now we have two angles. All we have to do is measure this angle and copy it here. So for that, measure BG. This is BG, right? So now you can change your radius. Change the radius, measure BG, and how do you cut it? Do you cut it from here or do you cut it from here? You cut it from the transversal. So because the first thing is from the transversal to the line. So here also it will be from the transversal to the line. So cut it from D, cut the same thing. Okay, so there you have cut it and name it, say, T. So there what do you have now? BAG will be equal to DOT. Now all you have to do is draw a line which connects O and this point T. So there you have. So what do you have here? Angle BAG is equal to angle DOT. So what does that mean? We have a transversal OA which has cut these two lines in such a way that their alternate interior angles are equal. And what did we learn from the transversal of parallel lines? That will mean that L, and if we call this line M, that will mean that L is parallel to M. So we have the same construction here. This was our aim. We wanted such a construction, and that is what we have got here. So that's all. So now we have constructed a line which is parallel to L and which passes through O. Now this is not the only way to construct a parallel line. I will show you another method. Now what was the other thing we learned? If we have two lines L and M, we don't know if they are parallel or not. Then if we can find a transversal which cuts them in such a way that the corresponding angles are equal. What did we learn first? If the transversal cuts it in such a way that the alternate interior angles are equal, then we learned that M, L and M will be parallel. The other thing we can also prove is that the corresponding angles will also, if the corresponding angles are equal, that will also prove that L and M are parallel. So we can construct that also, same construction, nothing different. What will you, what is given? Given is a line L and a point O outside of L. And how will you start? Always by drawing the line which is supposed to be the transversal, that will be OA. Then with the transversal, what have you got? You have got an angle here. Now we are going to construct that angle. First we constructed to this side, but here we are going to construct it in the same side, but it will come above. Here see where it has come, it will come above, it will come outside of the transversal. So when we draw the arc, we have to make sure it comes all the way here. So first, with A as the center and any radius of your liking, take it and draw a arc. So as usual, as soon as you see two new points, name them B and G. And now do not change the radius, with the same radius but different vertex. Draw it here, and you have to extend the transversal, extend this a bit, because it is going to come above the point, no? So please extend it to a bit to the top. There you have. Again name it, this end name it S. So now measure BG and create it here. There you go. Again, you have a new point, name it T. If you join these two, you will have a line. There you go. So how have we created this? We have done this in a way that BAG is equal to DOT. So what does that mean? That means that we have a transversal has cut this in such a way that the corresponding angles are equal, and that would mean that L is parallel to M. If we'll call this M, that will mean that L is parallel to M. So that's how we draw a line which is parallel to a given line and passes through a given point. So there are two ways of doing it. Either you start with two equal alternate interior angles or two equal corresponding angles. If you construct it in such a way, then the two lines will be parallel. That's all for today. Inshallah, till I meet you again, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.